Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Life with Ty. I can't believe I'm at episode 19. I feel like I just started yesterday and now we're at episode 19. But this week I get to sit down with a really cool friend of mine from middle school, Kraig, and we're just going to talk about post-graduation. So let's get started.
You've got Ty on the line on her podcast. So what's on her mind? And for you now, you are listening to Ty on the line.
This week I want to go ahead and shed spotlight on what everybody has been talking about, of course, the Netflix series When They See Us. For a very long time, I was totally against any form of documentaries, shows, movies, anything that put Black people in a negative light. Since I seen the reboot of Roots that had came out Memorial Day in 2016. After 20 minutes of that, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely never going to continue to watch, entertain, or anything in that nature when it comes to what it feels like reliving the horrors of African American history. But of course, with peer pressure, I did end up watching When They See Us, and I honestly just am so hurt. I feel like a lot of people just don't understand how this was just one story of 5 kids, but there is so many people that are in jail and they're innocent. And there's a lot of things that contribute to this, such as money, environment, public defenders. And I'm not blaming them, but we can all agree that public defenders don't go over and beyond for their clients as much as a private lawyer would. The workload is just too high and their pay is just too low. And it's really unfortunate and it's really sad. But one thing that I definitely did take from this, I'm sorry, guys. It's like just thinking about it just makes me feel like, because I have a 16-year-old nephew and he's a good kid. He goes to school. He's doing dual enrollment starting this year. He has a little part-time job at Publix. He plays track, football. He's just a normal kid. And you just think about, they did something so innocent. They literally just went to the park. And all of these things happen. Their lives were taken from them. They spent 6 years in jail, and Corey actually spent 13 years. So it's just, you think about all of the things that these kids missed out on, and them being so young and being in the system, and them never having to experience anything so traumatic. It's just crazy, and it makes me so afraid of everything, because we had somebody who was stating that these kids should get the death penalty. That is our president right now. Can you believe that? It's just so scary how watching that, it feels like in a way it's 2019 and we are reliving some of the very same things that happened then. And it's just scary. It really is just scary. And for those that have friends or family members in jail, I have a good friend of mine who has been in prison in and out of the system since middle school. He was actually like my first love and everything. And I keep in contact with him. I can't send him no money, no commissary. I'm not going to lie to y'all because y'all know I'm broke. But I do write him as much as I can. Or now, they have updated systems and you can email them. I just think that it's important to try your best to keep in contact with them, because sometimes all they need is somebody to talk to them, somebody to encourage them, somebody to give them strength, because being in jail is not easy. I mean, I've never been personally, but I can only imagine, watching documentaries and just the environment that they're in and just how badly they're treated. And just try your best to be there for anyone that is incarcerated. A letter goes a long way. And I just wanted to go ahead and shed spotlight on that. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip from the Netflix series When They See Us, because this message really stuck with me. I felt like this is how white people have viewed us a long time ago, and it's still how they view us today. And I just want you guys to pay attention to the words.
The details didn't matter because there was no script. They were coming downtown from a world of crack, welfare, guns, knives, indifference, and ignorance. They were coming from a land of no fathers. They were coming from the wild province of the poor, and driven by a collective fury, brimming with the rippling energies of youth, their minds teeming with the violent images of the streets and the movies. They had only one goal: to smash, hurt, rob, stop, rape.
Darling, fetch me my teacup. This week's tea is honey lavender stress relief tea from Yogi. I have actually had this tea before and I put it on my drink again list, and it is actually one of my favorite teas. I had this tea this week just to unwind, and with the weather being so nasty, it was just really good to have a nice cup of honey lavender tea and woosah. So I encourage you guys to drink it. And also, if you guys have any teas, please send them to me. I'm so open to new teas. I have also created a list of teas that I truly enjoy, but I am always open to trying new things. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Real Life with Ty. Today I have a guest with me, an old friend from middle school actually, who is here to talk about post-graduation. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kraig, Kraig.B on IG. You know what I'm saying? Not Kraig from Friday.
So petty. And we're just basically going to talk about post-graduation and school and the whole journey. So you just recently graduated, right?
Yeah, I graduated from the University of West Florida with my bachelor's. It was an experience.
What'd you get your bachelor's in?
Fitness and sports coaching.
Okay.
So a bachelor's in science.
Oh, so that's why you always have your shirt off. Now it makes sense.
See? Come on now.
Now I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I got to make it work. I got to make it all, everything got to connect. I
see. So why did you get into that?
So it was kind of just like I played football since I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we come up, it's like sports, rap, sports music, or something along that lines.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't really exposed to, the outside things that we, have available to us.
Right.
So, after me not going to a big D1 school from high school, it was just like, my pops was like, okay, what are you going to do in school? And he was like, if football don't work out, you could find something to still stick within it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, okay, fitness then. All right, that makes sense. Learn about the body. I play football. Why not learn about the body?
Did you feel like football was kind of your only way out in a sense? Like, did you put all your hope into playing football and becoming part of the NFL?
At the beginning, yeah, because you know what I'm saying, at 5, from the age of 5 up to high school, I had a starting position every time I went a level up.
Mm-hmm.
I had a starting position. So it was like, when you in that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go. It ain't,
Mm-hmm.
It's been shown. I've been showing that I've, been, in that spot every time. So why wouldn't I? Obviously, I'm good, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So why not make this? Why not go 100% in this
and make it a career? I can understand that. So why move to West Florida? What's over there?
So it's a whole big story behind why I went up to Pensacola. University of West Florida is in Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, it came down to me chasing this football thing. You know what I'm saying? When I graduated from high school, I went to a little small school in Kentucky. That didn't work out. I left after a semester.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried to come home and go to FAU, which is a D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, your test scores and stuff not high enough to automatically come in. So you got to go to Palm Beach State, get your AA.
Okay.
Handled that. Right when I graduated, I hit up FAU. Yo.
What's up?
They say, oh, yeah, you only got 1 year left to play, though. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
How?
So how it works is, for all who don't know, in D1, whenever you start collegiate football, for D1's, rules and regulations or whatever, if you start at any collegiate level, whether it's NAIA, which I played in, at the school in Kentucky, D2, D3, D1. Whenever you start at any level, your D1 clock runs no matter what, and it's gonna keep running.
Mm-hmm.
So when I graduated from Palm Beach State with my AA, I had done 4 years technically. Like
Oh,
from
I see.
graduating from high school and going to the school in Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
that's gonna be like 4 years.
Okay.
So I'm only gonna have 1 year left to play D1. So I was like, wow, that's crazy, and I ain't even know about that.
Right.
So shout out to my boy Zaire. You feel me? He put me on beat about University of West Florida. So how D2 works is if you have, it goes by your full-time semesters.
Mm-hmm.
So how many full-time semesters you do. And by the grace of God, I wasn't, I didn't even know at the time still, but at Palm Beach State, I wasn't full-time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing part-time and still preserving my clock. And I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. So it ended up working out in the end.
I mean, nah, not the bigger picture. I ain't in the league.
I
gave
mean-
up on the football.
But as far as being able to play and things like that.
Yeah, that worked out,
Yeah.
to get me. I still don't know what came. I mean, maybe, there's a lot that's coming from it now because I've gotten, I went through that experience.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was in Pensacola at the University of West Florida, I had so much resentment for it. I didn't I hated school. I hated like everything that was,
going on
with
because
it.
that's not what you wanted.
Because I felt like that's not what I wanted.
Oh.
But, that experience also showed me that I really ain't, I lost the love of football because it got way too political.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like, at the time, I got a whole story about it. Like,
We got time.
So I went to, when I got there at the school, my first semester there, I had a 3.7 GPA at the University of West Florida, 4 A's and a B. I benched like over 365, like, you know what I'm saying? I squatted
Okay.
over 425. But I needed to
Just
say that,
kidding.
and I ran for 440.
Uh-huh.
But all of that's like showing my credentials for it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I,
So
you know,
showing
I got,
that you were able to. Right.
and then the only person that didn't want me on the team was the head coach.
Why? What was the beef?
He looked, the last time I spoke to him, because I ran up on him a couple times, to try to tell him like,
Okay.
yo, I'll be on the practice squad, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll earn my spot.
Mm-hmm.
But the very last time I talked to him, he was like, straight up to my face, he said, you're not the biggest guy in the world, and we don't think you could beat out the top 3 running backs that we got. And I'm looking at him like, everybody on their team, like, yo, why you not on the team? You know what I'm saying? So that was just like, I was so confused.
I'm sorry.
I don't be sorry. I grew from that. I grew from that, but I thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
But yeah.
So the other day you had posted on Instagram, or maybe it was last week, about like why, or how I should say, are you supposed to pick a major and stick with it from the time that you're like right out of high school, and that's supposed to be what you want for the rest of your life? Like, what inspired you to do that?
Because that was my situation.
Okay.
I felt like it's something that needs to be way more focused in on, to educate our youth, the youngins that's coming up, the generations, because they next. Yeah. And then if we don't, then we're going to be in the same, position that we in,
Right.
I felt like we are still losing, like our generation is learning quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with technology because
Right,
it
of
advances
course.
everything.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, like it's taking us a little minute to get up out of the being conformed.
The traditional route to the American dream,
like,
something like that.
Like I just feel like we are. I don't even know the word. I apologize.
No, you're good.
But I feel like we're controlled and we weren't prepared at the end of the day.
Do you feel like that came from previous generations? Like, for example, our parents probably didn't have the best set of tools to prepare us?
For sure. It definitely came from them. But, I mean, I go way back. Like, it really came from slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're 100% still affected by slavery.
What makes you say that?
Because who had the money at that time?
Okay.
Money is like, right now, it's like, okay, you got money and time. Those are the two most important factors that you have available to you, that you can have, because, you don't got money, you got time.
Right.
So you got to use your time wisely in order to advance yourself.
That's true.
But if you don't got time, I'll give you an example. If you have someone that has $1 million, but they die in 2 days, they got to get right with the 1 million.
Yeah.
But if you got somebody that's broke and they got 100 years, they got to do it with the time.
Yeah, I can understand that. But then when you say that, I kind of have to disagree because of all the people that are black businesses that are opening up, all the people that are going back to school, all of the things that, for example, like Jay-Z just became a billionaire. Like, I just feel like the market's higher now and we do have access to, like, slavery is still there, yes, and there's probably still discrimination and prejudice and all of that. But I feel like if any time, right now is the best time for us to be able to advance.
So you disagree with slavery still affecting us?
In a sense, in the way that you're saying it, yes. As far as our success, like, I feel like we can still make it.
Of course. So I'm not saying that it does hinder our success. Slavery still hinders our success.
Okay. And why?
Because, okay, Bob's grandfather Jimmy, his grandfather's Matthew, his et cetera,
Right.
when they were owning our ancestors, they had money that's not even, money that's not even accounted for, like, that still ran through all of what, all of these, everything that we have. It's still, you know what I'm saying? That's where money still comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they family members still got that source of money because, his grandfather had a grandson, and that money was, hey, I got this for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it may not have been explained to this day. It may not have been explained that his ancestors was owning black people.
Right.
So all of that money that they had, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't what source of income did black people have?
Okay.
So then as it went on, what money did we have? What money?
Okay, I see where you're.
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
I see where you're coming
so
from.
our ancestors really ain't have no money, so they had to grind to get what they got, and
Right.
whoever got what they got, they probably put their family on. But we still have that. We still don't have people who trying to grind, and
Yeah.
but now I would say more so. Now we have a lot more successful black people.
Of course.
A lot more. I would say even a lot more successful minorities, because I don't want to just say black. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I advocate for everybody that's trying to win.
Yeah. That's true. I understand where you're coming from now. Okay. So what was college like?
So
Were you the typical college student, or like, did you work? What'd you do?
yeah, nah. At the time, at one point, I had 3 jobs, an internship that I had to do 120 hours for, and I had 4 classes. That was my senior year.
Ooh.
So it was rough because of my mindset. I was just beginning to learn how, all of your everything is a choice.
That's true.
If you choose to, make that decision that's gonna get you, you know what I'm saying, to the next point. If you still putting it like off, then you're not gonna ever make that next decision. So my mindset was changing. I was still learning about how, your own success comes from you, and you gotta go 110%.
All the time.
And so with my senior year, it was kind of like, now I'm seeing it as like, yo, I really went over a whole milestone. Like, most people don't have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And I cut that off to 2 because I needed to just relieve my stress.
Yeah, of course. Self-care.
So it was a learning lesson in the end, but at the time, school was just like, I hated it. I didn't feel like I was in the right field that I wanted to be in. And my mind was growing I felt like it was growing in a different area where I could have studied in a different area. But when I went to go even get a minor, they was like, whatever was the situation with financial aid, they was going to charge me surcharge fees, basically charging me out of state to get a minor. So I guess that had something to do with all the financial aid, but it was just like, all right, so that's not an option right now. And so I had to grind it out with something that I still felt like I really didn't want to do. But, you know, I'm not going to cry about it no more because I ain't going to say I'm crying. You feel me? I ain't going to complain about that anymore because, you know, it's a learning lesson. And I feel like I got it now so I can use it. It's beneficial.
Right.
I can use it to benefit myself if I choose to, because everything is a choice.
That's true. So what are you doing now post-graduation?
Post-graduation, I am working on becoming a firefighter.
Okay.
So I actually just left Palm Beach State College to make sure everything was squared away. I have to get everything checked off for that. And, you know, I have many business ideas. And, you know, I'm just trying to create a generation of wealth within my family and my peers. So, you know, everybody can be a key if we put the right pieces in place.
That's true.
It's just a big puzzle.
Did you feel like after graduation, like, dang, you know, I got this piece of paper, I'm here, but I still have to take another step?
Of course.
Definitely.
I did 16, I did 16 years to get one piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely how I felt.
So with that, even to go a step further, I get out of, I graduate, you know, I graduated last month and, you know, I had a fitness and conditioning degree. So coming home, now I'm trying to search for a job to go, you know, to a gym.
Yeah, be a
you know what I'm
trainer,
saying? Be a
something like
trainer.
that.
But in order for me to be a trainer, I have to get my certs. And the certs,
On top of the degree?
on top of the degree.
You lying.
And now the certs that, you know, that's big and accredited really is the NASM, and they want $500 for that.
Bruh.
But there's other lower level, you know, certifications that you can get, but it's like, that's crazy. I just went through school for this. You feel me? Like, why
Yo, you singing to the choir. Like, that's definitely how I felt, like, graduating. Like, the day of graduation, like, I was crying when I was getting my makeup done. Because the girl who does my makeup, I've been going to her for, like, 2 years. So we were actually, like, really close. And she was like, so how you doing? Are you excited? And I just started crying. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm about to walk the stage. I graduated with honors. I did all of this. But nothing, tomorrow my situation is going to be the same. Like, I'm still going to be broke.
Yeah.
I'm still going to be just in the same space. And it's like, even though this is a big accomplishment and I should be thankful and all of that, I felt like this is nothing.
Right.
This means nothing
Right.
whatsoever. And, like, especially because, like, I graduated a month ago, and I'm right back in school. Like, I'm working
Exactly.
on my master's right now
Exactly.
to graduate next year. And I'm like, yo, I pray that after I get my master's, like, this is it, because I'm drained. Like, I'm over it. I'm
Right.
over school. I'm over working. I'm over being broke. Like, I'm over just the whole process.
So I got a question for you then, because it'll still, you know, be within this conversation. So what is your overall goal?
My ultimate goal is to become licensed, which is going to take me some time as well. But I want to open a nonprofit. So that's my ultimate goal, to open a nonprofit to help the gap between high school and college. I feel like it's so important to have that conversation because, especially being first generation, which
100%.
I was, my parents, unfortunately, didn't know. Like, things like dual enrollment or financial aid. Like, with financial aid, my dad didn't want to give me his tax papers. It was just so many barriers for me. And if I didn't have that motivation and that drive to continue to push and go out there and find resources, like, I would have been quit a long time ago. So I feel like it's important to have that resource to those kids so that way they don't feel the way that I felt, and it'd be a lot easier and a lot cheaper for them to continue their education if that's what they want to do.
I think that's here's the challenging part in that though, because I've kind of thought about this when I made that video. So the challenging part is to get high schoolers to understand that. Because
true.
I ain't gonna cap, like, my mama was trying to tell me, like, hey, you know, be a part of this this men's group, or, you know what I'm saying, like, to, you know, create me more, you know what I'm saying,
Opportunities and things like that.
and to make, you know, create relationships and, you know, open my, you know,
Horizon.
yeah, what do you call it when your communication level, what is that called?
What do you mean, your
Your,
communication? Like networking?
Your networking.
Yeah.
Exactly. She was trying to
network.
expose me to that. But at the time, it was like, maybe I was feeling like I was the cool dude. Like I don't know. Like
Were
I
you
didn't.
like popular in high school?
I mean, I wasn't even caring about that. But it was just like maybe I wasn't even interested that much into it. I wasn't. I didn't want to do it.
Okay.
And she was trying to explain to me the importance in it. But I still didn't get it at that time. So how do you beat that is really what my question was.
It's really just honestly triggering something to interest them. Like, for example, going on college tours, doing field trips, having people that are already in certain fields come and talk to them, like sparking their interest. I'm not going to be one of those people or organizations that is coming here with a hard book and just being like, this is what you need to do. Because I also feel like school is not for everybody.
Exactly.
But it's just to kind of give them a path, give them some sense of guidance and help them figure it out.
Right.
Because those age groups, it's confusing. Like 18 to 22, it's confusing. Like, I don't even,
18, when we start high school.
Like, okay, so, like,
that.
14, 15.
You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
I can't even.
That's what I'm saying.
I sent you the picture the other day from middle school, and it was, like, literally, 10 years?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? I feel like that's a whole different life. Like.
Whole different.
But it's been 10 years. Like, what have I done in 10 years? Nothing. I've done nothing.
But that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I definitely was trying to ask the question of how do you and maybe the answer is to somewhat allow them to venture out and explore as many experiences as possible.
Yeah.
Because once you have that under your belt, they have a lot more to choose from. But everything has a negative and a pro.
Of course.
So, with exposing them to too much, they'll have too many options, and then they'll still get confused. So it's like, where do you really dial down and say, this is the answer, or this is how I can best? And I think it just comes down to each individual.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
just trying to figure out what they all keen into.
That is very true, but it is a journey.
It's a journey, for real.
It definitely is a journey, and you do have to be proud of the accomplishments and the things that you have done thus far. I think that's one of the most important things for me, because I'm always like, no, this is not enough.
So I just had a conversation with my boy Nathaniel. Shout out to you, my mans. He was teaching me like how, and I learned from him, like, I was still, even at the time I was speaking to him, it was like I was still feeling so much resentment for being in the position that I'm in, feeling like I went over a great milestone and had nothing to show for it but a piece of paper. And he was like, yo, just be grateful for that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to benefit from it if you still feeling that resentment.
Yeah.
You have to, be really, truly grateful for it, and then that's when you'll be able to use it to your best advantage. And I started to understand that, like, okay, I can't have this negative mindset on something that I want to use to create money. Like,
That's
that
true.
wouldn't make sense.
That's very true.
So, that was just something I just learned actually like 3 days ago. So shout out to you, my man.
Do you feel like that, like, lifted you a lot?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course that did, because like I said, I feel like I can really use that now. Now I'm being able to, see how I was thinking and, reverse it. Like, I have to use it for my benefit. So
what is your end goal?
My end goal? I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, so working on it.
I'm still trying to figure out, where I want to be and who I want to be. I just want to be the best of me, though.
And how old are you now?
I'm 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Aries babies.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just turned 24 in March.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Dang, we so old, yo. Like, I'm still stuck like that. I can't believe that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I feel it, though. And, like, I think about it like this. In 1 year, I'm going to be 25. In 5 years, I'm going to be 30.
Yo.
That's crazy.
Yo.
That's crazy.
No kids. I don't even got a man right now. Like, I'm like,
crazy.
My mom is like, because the other day, when I was in elementary school, I broke my arm, and lately my arm has been killing me. Like, I can't even lift like a case of bottled water. And my mom is like, yeah, it's time for you to get a husband. And I'm like, yo, like, you ain't lying, because my biological clock is like ticking. And
man.
I want to I want to get married before I have kids, and I want to enjoy my life with my husband before I have kids. And I'm like, yo, I just don't see that happening.
Right?
Like how?
So I mean, we can go on to so much. Friends ask me a lot, like, and you also did too. Why am I in a relationship?
Right, and you
know what
told
I'm
me you
saying?
never been in
I've
one,
never
which I
been
feel like
in a
you lying,
relationship.
but you
Nah,
know.
I mean, okay, shout out to her. I'm not gonna expose who you are,
Ooh,
cause you know, anonymity is
I'm
really
drinking
good.
a bottle of water right now.
Everybody, you gotta keep.
No, you do have to keep your private life
privacy.
private. I'm very,
Privacy.
very big advocate on that.
So I don't tell nobody who I'm rocking with, how I'm moving, and none of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but shout out to her because I was only with her for like 2 weeks in high school. Yeah,
Wow.
that was crazy. But
Shout out to you, Miss Anonymous.
it's just like what you were saying. It's your sacrifices, and I understand it very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it's like, if I feel like I don't even know who I am right now, how could I even be with somebody and delegate my time to that person
That's
when I'm
very
still trying to
true.
figure out who I am? That would be me holding myself and her back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, that's very true.
so it's just your sacrifices with that. You know what I'm saying? So, are you willing to go 110% to grab your success, and then
Later find.
But then I question too: is that the answer?
What you mean, is that the answer? You gonna be lonely forever?
No. I'm saying like to go 110, to go 110, because you have people who do that, who build their success.
Mm-hmm.
I know 2 ladies who had millions, or what I'm saying, they were wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still telling me like, yeah, like they're like low key my mentors,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, like, what I'm saying, I still want to find somebody. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
That's true. Yeah. I can understand that because at a point in time I was dating someone that was super successful, but he just had no personality. And it's just because like we really had a conversation about it and he was just talking about, all his life he's been focused on making money,
Exactly.
getting himself to where he is now. So it's like there's certain things he just missed out on. But it's like it's weird because I think about like, okay, so how don't you have a personality? Why is everything always business? But that's really how people
That's
in
their
business are.
sacrifices,
They talk
yeah.
about, that's all they do all day, talk about business, money, numbers, investing, all that. But I'm like, yo, like you never even like stop for a second and self-care, like, but
Okay,
then I don't know.
So I guess an answer would be to know when your level of success, when you will accept that level of success.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's something to pay attention to. Because if you got to where you wanted to be, are you now being greedy? And then if you are, then you're sacrificing, your time to create love and to be in, experience relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You disagree?
I mean, I feel you, but like I also think that, like you said, when you're focused, it's just easier to be focused on the things you're focused on because dealing with people and their emotions and everything like that, it can be a burden,
Right.
and it can be a distraction.
Exactly.
Like right now, like I just prefer to just be single because it's just easier. I don't have to answer the phone. I don't have to hang out with you. Like anything that I want right now is just by choice. But when you're with someone, it's like you have to consider their feelings and all that nonsense. Ain't nobody got time for that. I just don't have the capacity to deal with someone else's emotions right now. I just feel like it's too much.
So maybe that's how he felt. But I'm not gonna speak for him. I'm not gonna.
Well,
That's just,
maybe that's
me.
how he felt on his way up. But it's like, okay, now you're here. You're established. You're good. So it's like now, what's up? Like, why can't you? But you can't teach personality. That's the thing.
And also, it just becomes to the point where it's like I
Second
said,
nature.
it's like I wanna get more. Like that's that greed. So.
Yeah.
But also with businesses, and I don't know what his position was, but this is just for my general knowledge too, and anybody else's, just for the experience and knowing. If you are creating a business, and just like now how we are, and we understand that in order to do that, you got to give it 110. So businesses are like machines, and once you got all the keys and the parts working, it's just gonna keep rolling. And if you need it to continue to keep rolling, you got to be 110% in that all the time. So that's difficult. It is. It's difficult because if you 110 at it all the time and you still got it rolling, you essentially have no, all of the other side
Side stuff, yeah.
is
You're like tunnel vision.
tunnel vision.
Whew, I don't know, but the clock is ticking,
It
and
is.
you know, at some point, I've come to the conclusion of being okay with being like the successful aunt with no kids or no man, and just kind of like living my life. I've come to be okay with that.
Because even though me and my boys at high school, it was like, yeah, like I want to grow up with my jet. Like I want to be able to play basketball or football with my jet. Like you see dads that's like 40 and 50 years old, and they like they can't
Ain't do
even,
none of that.
do none of that. You know, so it's just a balance, and you got to figure out your own balance. I
That's
think.
true.
You know.
That's very true. Are you working at the moment?
Yeah, I'm working. I got 2 little part-time jobs. You know what I'm saying? See, that's my. You see how that tone was? I gotta change that. I have 2 part-time jobs. You know, that's creating me some revenue right now. You feel me? That's creating me some revenue. So, I'm grateful for that. But I want more. I definitely want more. And with that whole experience with the firefighter, it's kind of like weird too. Cause I'll even tell you this. Before I even went to, before I went to the University of West Florida, so 2 years ago, I could have been ahead of the game. And my dad was telling me, yo, go do the firefighter thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to get you some bread, and you're going to have, like, the 2 days on, 4 days, 2 days on, whatever, however it goes.
Like the rotation.
The time. So what that's going to do for me is get me money and allow me free time to do things that I need to do on the side. So a lot of people don't have that, and a lot of jobs don't offer that.
That's
to be
true.
getting paid that much and that amount of time of freedom. That's a great balance.
That is, because then if you want to go on a vacation or something, you don't necessarily have to take days off.
So I was hard-headed and was like, nah, I'm gonna chase my dreams.
I'm gonna chase my dreams.
I'm gonna chase my dreams. Dream chasers, man. But I feel like that bit me at the end of the day because I'm going back to it now. I'm playing catch up. And one thing about me is I hate to make mistakes.
It's a part of life.
I know. I
It's
fear
like,
mistakes.
I'm looking at you like this because I feel like this is how I felt prior to graduating. Like, the week of graduation, like, I felt exactly how you feeling. Like, what am I doing? If I was this, if I should have did that, but I should have did this. But at the end of the day, like, everything you experienced was for a reason.
For a reason.
And they definitely meant to teach you something. I don't know what, but to just teach you and help you grow and help you become a better you, help you get to that level that you want to get to.
And that's a part of just being grateful for the experiences
Yeah.
that you come about.
Yeah, for example, today I met, well, I didn't meet her today, but I have a client that is homeless at the time, and she got a degree from FIU, and she was like one class from finishing her master's at Nova, and things just kind of went left in her life, and she's homeless. And today, like, as I was helping her, and she was just talking to me, and she was like, I feel like I'm here because I was ungrateful. And she was like, I wasn't compassionate. So in my head, I'm thinking, like, so basically you're an asshole. More of the story. Like, you were in a big position. You were an asshole. And you just, like, now it's, like, coming down. And I was like, do you feel like God is punishing you? And she's like, I don't feel like he's punishing me, but I feel like he's just letting me know, like, as quick as I can get is as quick as it can be taken away.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. And I was like, oh, my God, I don't want you to think that I'm being ungrateful. I promise I'm not being ungrateful.
Right.
Because even I'm looking at her and I'm just thinking, like, she has a degree. She did things the right way. She's not on drugs or anything like that. But unfortunately, this is her situation right now. And it's just crazy.
First of all, I appreciate, that's amazing that you even, a part of her life, being that she was in that situation. So, kudos to you. But, again, it's just about, being grateful, right? And I don't know her situation in total. So it's like, a lot of people don't even know when they're not being grateful.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. True. That's very difficult.
It is.
So when she was being ungrateful and, she may have been taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't even notice it until now.
that's very tricky because you could be people don't understand like the I'm sorry, I go so deep into my mind.
No,
like
you're good.
There's always a good and bad. So with that, once you're doing something for yourself, that's good for you, but it could be bad for somebody else.
That's true.
And that's just hard. That's just like your sacrifices. Everything connects. So it's like your sacrifices. If you have to grind for something by hurting somebody else, or not hurting, but you know what I'm saying, by it's negatively affecting somebody else, it's like you have to, in respect, you have to compensate for that. You have to understand it, you know, and that's a very hard challenge.
It is.
To understand that you're grinding and then have to be aware that you are negatively affecting somebody. So you have to see how you can
Balance
positively
it.
affect that person or not have an effect on them at all and still doing what you got to do. That's very challenging.
Wow. That's true.
I think about things a lot. Yeah.
So yeah, Kraig is a thinker. He's a talker.
I mean,
and he does
sometimes.
fitness. If y'all, try to get them summer bodies right.
That part, come on.
Is there anything that you want to leave the audience? Or?
Yes. When I first seen Ty do this, I was so happy for her. Like, no cap. I was like, yo, this is going to be amazing. So one of my goals was to actually be on the show. So
that's awesome.
that was crazy. I was like, yeah, I really wanted to do this. So, thank you for allowing me to be here. I think this was amazing.
Thank you for coming.
And if you ever want me back, just hit me up. I'm here.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. All right, y'all. It's another episode of Real Life with Ty. Holla. As always, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Real Life with Ty, or you can email me at reallifewithty@gmail.com.
You've got Ty on the line on her podcast. So what's on her mind? And for you now, you are listening to Ty